Good morning, everyone. This is John Altshuler. Welcome to our Purium Athletes Call today. An awesome opportunity for some training and information here this morning. We have some amazing athletes and speakers here this morning to share their personal journeys with us, give us some insights into how we can get our bodies performing ultimately at the highest level possible. It's an amazing journey, this journey that we're on. We found an incredible company called Purium Health Products that's delivering the most high-octane fuel that we can put in our human bodies. And when we put the right stuff in our body, I hear that our bodies do amazing things. And we have some people this morning to kind of further our understanding on this particular journey. So I'm really honored to get to host the call and just to be a part of what's going on here. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So you may want to grab out your pad of paper and a pencil and a pen and take a few notes here, because the information is going to be very, very valuable. I'd like to start off this morning by introducing our first guest speaker and host here to the call as well. His name is Jeffrey Kipple, and he's got a very interesting path that he's on in his life. Together with his wife and partner, Mindy Blackstein, they became pioneers and innovators within the fitness arena. They conceptualized and introduced into Canada and then throughout other areas of the world, natural bodybuilding events, as well as figure, fitness model, and muscle model search competition categories. They are visionaries and creators behind the FAME World Tour, the World Natural Sports Organization, and provided platforms and pathways for millions of people around the world through their events, expos, magazines, TV shows, and seminars. Just incredible information to the masses. Their mission is to bring health back to fitness through the Body Proud Social Interactive or initiative, I should say, to inspire and empower over 100 million people to love how they look, love how they feel, love the thoughts they think, and love what their bodies can do. What an amazing mission and journey. The first step, of course, begins with building their bodies from the inside out, using Purium as a foundational base. And so with that, I'd like to introduce and bring on Jeffrey Kipple. Jeffrey, honored to have you on the call today. And please go ahead and what can you share with us today?
Good morning, John. Thank you so much for that introduction and for having me on the call today. This is really exciting for us because our objective here is to share with as many people what people can do to nourish their body, to provide the right fuel from their body, and build their bodies from the inside out. So just a little bit more insight into some of my background. During my career, I have judged and witnessed over 25,000 athletes on stage and have gotten to see a lot of physiques and learned a lot of ways that athletes, in particular physique athletes, get their bodies into that shape. And the practices that so many people use, both in this physique competition world and in outside athletic adventures, people are getting themselves ready for their events, their competitions in a fashion that would be considered not to be healthy, not to be true role models of health and fitness. And our intention is to help educate people that there is a way to gain a dramatic advantage over your former self. There is a way to gain that advantage by fueling your body with the right fuel. And this applies to any sport whatsoever. In so many different sports, athletes try their best to make weight classes, to get their body chiseled and narrowed in specifically for those type of competitions, photo shoots, and events. And practices that are typically done are just not healthy. Although those athletes and athletes in general look like that role model where other people ask them, what are you doing? What are you doing to nourish your body? What are you doing to get that look? The information that they have is not the information that is something that should be shared with others because the practices just aren't healthy. And I'll let some of the athletes that we have on the phone today as guests to share some of that. But what we found was this system with Purium allows people to really recalibrate their body, really get their bodies to be chemical free, because most athletes, most people who are active gym goers, most people who want to sculpt their physique turn to going to nutrition stores and talking to the reps or the people in the stores and finding out what products they need to get healthy. And in so many cases, those products are filled with artificial colors and flavors and sugars and irradiated ingredients and genetically modified ingredients. And as soon as someone makes that change and replaces that food with organic, GMO-free, whole food superfoods, amazing things happen in the body. The body recalibrates, it cleanses, it detoxifies. And through this program that Purium has, it allows athletes to do an anabolic cleanse. And that's significant. Most cleanses and detox systems on the marketplace are catabolic, which means that your body is not getting the right nourishment, the right fuel, especially for the muscles. And what happens is the muscle tissues then break down to be able to provide the body with fuel. In this program, it's an anabolic cleanse, which means that you're actually building lean muscle mass while getting rid of the toxins, while shedding weight. And this is of significance. Now, although this is perfect for any sport, there is a particular aspect to those that are competing in physique competitions, because everything is based around how they're going to showcase their body on stage. This is for bodybuilders and fitness models and figure athletes and muscle models, because they're sculpting their body and they're displaying it on stage, you know, in that raw form. And in order to do it in the right way, they need to kickstart. They need to cleanse out and get the chemicals out of their body, become chemical free, and then be able to showcase it. So on the call today, we have a number of athletes, athletes who are also personal trainers who share this message along with to their clients. But we've got two bodybuilding athletes who have made very significant names for themselves, along with an MMA fighter who is actually fighting for his pro match in about a week or so. And all these athletes have fueled their body using Purium. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, John, so that you could introduce the athletes that we have on the call today.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Jeffrey, for that. And I think it's so important. I think you just said something that's so powerful to me, is that we go to, you know, the people who are out there at the health food stores to get this information, and they're not the highly trained specialists, the people that we really need to be talking to. So I'm so grateful for this call today. I'd like to introduce a gentleman who's been a professional, who is a professional natural for life bodybuilder with the NGA and the WNBF. He's about to turn 50 years old, and if you saw the picture of him, you would be quite amazed. 50 years young, I guess I should say, and has over 30 years experience in the fitness industry. He's a personal trainer, massage therapist, and the creator of Jimmy Smith's Body Blast System. I don't know exactly what that is, but we might find out today. So with that, let me find Jimmy here, and we'll start onto the journey. Oh, there we go. Good morning, Jimmy. Are you with us?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Just looking forward to the information and perspective that you can share. I know that you've got a lot of years of doing a lot of the right stuff, and we would love to learn from some of that incredible information that you've stored up over the years.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely.
So are you going to be giving us a little bit of background on your journey here? Tell us a little bit about your destination. I don't know if you know much about your background in terms of kind of where you come from and how this whole journey started for you.
Okay, well, I started weight training probably back, I would say, 1979. I was dealing with anorexia nervosa at the age of 13. I went down to actually 84 pounds. I originally I think I weighed about 130, an average size kid, 13. Somewhere down the line, somebody planted the seeds in my head that I was fat, which I wasn't. So I went on this starvation diet for probably about 10 months, dropped my weight down to 84 pounds, was taken to the hospital, and they told me, you know, you better get a grip on this, and you definitely need help here. And I was always a football player, wrestler, and they said if I didn't gain the weight back that I wouldn't be able to play sports. That's all it took. I immediately started eating right and started weight training after seeing the movie Pumpin' Iron, and I just love it. It's been a passion of mine for the last 36 years, and I have the same passion that I had from day one. And I just think it's the greatest form of exercise, and you know, the healthy lifestyle. You can't go wrong with it. It does reverse the aging process. It is the fountain of youth, without a doubt. But I like Purium products. I did give it a try about a month ago, and I felt a dramatic change in my body. I felt energetic. I felt great positive changes happening in my body, and I just highly recommend the products. I'm looking forward to continue taking the aminos and the power shakes for my next show, which will probably be at the end of this year. But to get back to my background as far as my competitive years, my first show was back in 1989. I entered the Mr. Akron, which is in Ohio. I did place first in the light heavyweight division, and I've been competing on and off for the last 30 years, and I really enjoy it. I won my NGA card 2005 and my INBF, WNBF pro card in 2012. That was my last show, was the Northern States Naturals up in Buffalo, New York. And I do, like I said, I do plan on competing at the end of the year and getting into the best shape of my life. And I will be using Prairie products without a doubt, because in my opinion, over the years, I've taken all the supplements, and the way I felt in that short period of time of taking your products or Prairie, it's unbelievable. My joints were feeling better. My energy level was up. I was maintaining my pumps in the gym, and I do believe it's because of the aminos. Yeah, they're just great products.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you a couple questions, Jimmy, in terms of
Sure.
The background of where you've come from in terms of food and how you nourish your body. Because one of the things that I have seen in the bodybuilding world, is very high consumption of protein, whey proteins and other animal
Right.
proteins, etc. And so, I know that there's different schools of thought out there, and I don't know what your journey has been in terms of, whether you've been, how you kind of look at that and how you might be transitioning your understanding in terms of how something like the MAT can fuel our body with a lot, less metabolic waste, which, I know that bodybuilders oftentimes will get into just eating such massive amounts of protein. It
Right.
creates a lot of complication on the kidneys and becomes very, very difficult to process. In fact, I've had a friend that actually ended up in the hospital because they were just, with dehydration and all the other things going on.
Right.
There just seems like there's got to be a healthier way. So how do you how has this new information or the master aminos kind of changed things for you? I'd be kind of interested to know how your perspective has shifted.
I think I'm going to decrease my animal protein somewhat and try more of the vegan proteins, and definitely the aminos. That short period of time I took them, I felt a great change happening. Like I said, I was maintaining my pumps. My strength levels actually increased, and even though I was cutting my calories, my carb content, I was still energetic. I still had energy in the gym, and I was maintaining my pumps where normally I wouldn't maintain my pumps. And I do. It's from the products. I just know, because I know my body. I'm very in tune with my body from over the years, and I know there was just positive, great changes happening. So I'm going to rethink my nutrition and just do some studying on this, and I'm going to, like I said, go more with the vegan proteins, maybe discard some of the meat proteins. Over the years, I've, the basic chicken breast, fishes, lean red meats and stuff like that. I'm going to just do a lot of research and see what I can come up with. And definitely Premium Products is going to be the catalyst foundation in my next journey, my next show, without a doubt. But I'm going to do some more research on the vegan, going more that route. There's a great bodybuilder back in the day, a pioneer, Bill Pearl, which he was a vegan bodybuilder, and he was one of the most massive guys ever to walk the planet. He weighed in at about 240, 235 at 5'8", and he was vegan. So I'm definitely going to do some research. Definitely. It just changed my whole outlook on everything. It really has.
Fantastic.
Just from that short, that's just from that short period of time of taking the product, how I was feeling. It's phenomenal.
Have you found a rhythm? Have you found a rhythm, Jimmy, for how you use it through the course of the day? Do you have a regimen that you've kind of created for yourself already, where you might take, X amount of the master aminos or the power shake, or how you kind of parse that out through the day, or pre-workout, post-workout? Do you have a strategy that you've been able to? I know you're relatively new with the products, and really appreciate you being on the call here already because you've seen a difference. But do you have a protocol that you've kind of designed for yourself already?
Not at the moment, but I do plan on throwing at least 2 or 3 of the power shakes in my game plan for the day, and definitely the extra aminos to give me the extra protein. And like I said, the aminos in itself was doing phenomenal. I could feel just phenomenal changes just from that. So I think if I add that onto the protein I'm already consuming, it's going to enhance all that. But it's definitely changed my outlook. Like I said, on everything. Everything prior to what I've learned and studied and experienced on my own, I'm just going to reanalyze everything and go back to the drawing board. And premium products, like I said, it's going to be the catalyst and the foundation of it all. And I'm going to go from there because I know they're great products. They are, definitely. And I've taken all the products over the years, every brand imaginable. And from the short period of time, I'm just very, very impressed. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look forward to hearing the results of your next competition. It certainly looks like a winning profile from what I've seen in the picture, Jimmy.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate you being on with us this morning, and hopefully we'll be able to have a follow-up and hear a little bit more as you've developed more of a schedule.
Absolutely.
And kind of have things going for yourself. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's hear from another one of our guests here this morning. Really excited to introduce this next gentleman as well. His name is Mike Kosas, and he's a 3-time Mr. Natural USA, 6-time natural top 5 in the world, and holds pro titles with Fame, WNSO, and the WNBF. And if you know all of those initials, you know more than I do. But that being said, he's a runner-up in the 2004 Mr. Universe, a loving father of 4, ordained Christian minister, and a lifelong drug-free athlete, and now chemical-free, thanks to Purium. Let me get Mike's line unmuted here. Good morning, Mike. Thank you so much for being with us today. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm great, and thank you for having me.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. You know, one of the things that's amazing to me is just the commitment that all of you have in the athletic world. Certainly the things that you've done and what you've accomplished in your career is kind of staggering for somebody, you know, who hasn't been really in that world of elite athletics. And you truly are. And so it'd be really awesome if you just give us a little bit of background, kind of how this journey got started for you and maybe how things have started to shift with your introduction into the Purium line of product, and maybe even how long ago that was. Has it been a really new, I'm asking too many questions here, but I'd like to know if it's relatively new or whether you've been on these products for a little while, but maybe we'll take one step back and learn a little bit about what your journey has been, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. I'm a bit of a talker, so I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash here. I first of all want to just say thank you for that introduction, and yes, it seems that I have quite a long list of accomplishments, but I got to give it all to the Lord. I mean, without Him, none of it's possible, and you know, all glory to God, because you know, there's been plenty of things along the way, and I've just been lucky to experience these things. But you know, how it all started. Well, basically, I was a wrestler. I hit the wrestling mats at age 5, so that was what I did. That's how I, you know, broke loose. I did very well in high school through Scholastic in high school, and I was able to obtain a Division I wrestling scholarship. I wrestled at the Division I level, and I did pretty well. I was a 2-time conference champion and 2-time runner-up. I made 3 trips to the NCAA Division I Nationals, and was ranked as high as 12th or maybe 13th in the world in the country at the time. I never got an All-American status, but came close a couple times. But you know, that was you know, what I did, and I was always weight training. I started weight training at 12 years old for the sport of wrestling. Well, if people don't understand sport of wrestling, it's very demanding as far as weight class cutting, similar to what Chris is going to talk about in MMA. A lot of wrestlers turned to MMA. Well, they didn't have MMA back then, so I couldn't turn to it, but I turned to natural bodybuilding. I was in the gym, and I was in college, and someone said, "Hey, what are you getting ready for?" And I said, "No, I got my season's not for another couple months." They're like, "Your season? What are you talking about? There's a show down the road next week." I said, "Show? What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, bodybuilding show. Aren't you a bodybuilder?" I said, "No, I'm actually a wrestler." I said, "Oh, you should do bodybuilding, this and that." And I was like, "I'm not going to do that. It's all, you know, drug infused, and I care too much about my health and so forth." So I kind of let that go. But in reality, I really didn't care a lot about myself because I was sucking so much weight to make weight classes. And when I say we call it sucking weight, that means we're just draining our body of all nutrients. We're draining our body of all our fluids. We're starving ourselves. And we're running on empty, basically, with miserable attitude, horrible outlook on life. Really, our performance drops, at least 50%, if not more, just so we can make a weight class and then go out there and compete. It kind of doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But that's the circle that wrestlers are in. And but it put a bug in my head about, hey, maybe this is something I'd like to do after college. So when I did graduate, the same type of thing kept on happening to me. People asking me, bodybuilding. I said, what the heck, maybe I'll try it. And that's kind of how it all started. And the career started in, I guess, 1991 when I did my first show. And I competed for, 25 or so years, doing my last competition in 2009. And then I had a severe back injury. I perforated 2 discs in my lower back and was forced into have emergency surgery. It kind of took me out of the game. Through that process in bodybuilding and wrestling, so forth, I became I was a teacher. I taught physical education, and I was a strength and conditioning coach, and coached wrestling. And then through that, I opened up a couple fitness centers, personal training performance centers. And after 2009, it became a very big struggle to hold on to all that. So in 2011, I gave that up and so forth. So through all that, I was doing all the supplementation, doing all the eating, and doing the bodybuilding thing, as Jimmy was talking about, 4 meals a day, 4 protein shakes a day, and so forth. And as time went on, and as I stopped, in 2009, stopped competing, but still did the same thing, I was getting older. I hit 40 years old. Things were changing. My body wasn't responding in the same way. And now I know that all those toxins and all those chemicals and all those GMOs were building up in my body, and that's why I wasn't recovering from my workouts. That's why I was sustaining so many injuries. I mean, I went from back surgery to a torn rotator cuff to a frayed labrum to 4 herniated discs in my neck to all kinds of things were going on. And then I started having internal issues, and I had they thought I might have diverticulitis. I don't now, God, thank you. I had kidney stones 3 times in 3 years. I had some other bowel issues that men get, and they say, oh, every man gets it. And this was crazy. I couldn't believe how I had so-called eaten healthy my whole life, supplemented healthy, was an athlete, would work out, every single day basically, and how would this be? So at that point in time, I was out of the sport. I was out of coaching. They told me after the herniated disc I couldn't coach wrestling anymore. I was out of bodybuilding. The disc issue in my back, I couldn't do a whole lot for my legs. I was out of the 2 things that I loved the most, and I was kind of depleted, and I went back to teaching. I just decided, hey, I'm going to give up. My career's over. I'll just have to lick my wounds, and I'll go back to teaching. And I reached out to Jeff Kipple, and just because it had been 7 years since I spoke to him, Jeff was very intricate, and Jeff and Mindy were very intricate in my the middle part of my bodybuilding career when I really started getting some notoriety, because I am only 5'5", and I compete at about 155 pounds. So to win those competitions, I have to be in incredible condition. I have to have, not a flaw as far as my symmetry goes, because I don't have the size to overtake the 6-foot guy. And they were very integral because I competed in their organization, and I became 3-time Mr. Natural USA in their organization at that size. And I was on their magazine cover, and I did a lot of guest appearances and speaking engagements and nutritional seminars and so forth. And now I could kick myself because a lot of the nutrition I was telling people was flawed now that I know what they've done to the food since 1996. But in any case, that's where it all kind of went. And I reached out to him because I was in my depleted state, and I thought, well, maybe Jeff could shine some light on this. I'm going to try to make a comeback now, and I'm going to see where they are. He got back to me, and I told him about a product that I was looking into, and he said, Mike, I got to be honest, this is what you need. And he told me about Purium Health products. And, for a guy like me who has a degree in exercise science, who's done this his whole life, who had training centers and worked with thousands of people, and especially high-level athletes. I mean, I have a lot of athletes that I worked with that were national champions in many different sports, Olympic level, MMA fighters who've won championships and so forth. So for me to kind of listen to someone else tell me about something was difficult, but I trusted Jeff. I respected him and Mindy because of what they have accomplished in their field. And I thought, well, it's got to be, it's all natural. It's 100% natural. It's organic. It's non-GMO. It's worth me giving it a shot here. And I got to tell you, I've never looked back. Now it's been almost 5 months now. I guess November is when I started, and unbelievable. In day 5 of my cleanse transformation, I reached out to Jeff and I said, what is going on here? I said, I have done every cleanse. I have done every possible, I have put people on programs that are above what we're doing here. And unbelievable. I can't believe how I feel. I can't believe I'm going into the gym. Now, I doubled up my aminos during it because I was going to be working out hard. I was going to see how this really worked. I was making myself a human experiment. And I was getting stronger. I hadn't gained strength in 10 years. Since 35, I hadn't gained any muscle, and that means I wasn't gaining any strength because, you start to deteriorate as you get older. Well, I was actually gaining strength, and I could see in 5 days that there was changes happening. The cuts were getting deeper, but the strength was getting, so I was losing weight, I was losing body fat, but I was gaining strength. It was amazing to me. So then by day 10, it was pure fact. I had gained muscle, I had gained strength, but I had lost 2.5% body fat and almost 9 pounds in the 10 days, but I was stronger. It was bizarre. So I said, okay, from now on, boom, this is it. I got to deal with this. So now, instead of eating 4 meals a day and 4 protein shakes, I haven't had a protein shake since. I have the aminos, and I have a regimen. And you were asking Jimmy about a protocol. I developed protocols because I also did it with my wife, and then I did it with 5 other clients, and then I started reaching out to other people in the industry that I know, and I said, hey, you got to try this. So I had a lot of people that were doing it, and then I said, okay, now try these protocols, and I started to say, okay, try 5 aminos before you work out, 5 after, try 8, try morning, and then pre-workout, post-workout, and many different ways, and I've gotten it down to a pretty good system for almost every athlete, especially myself. And it's truly, I cannot express it more. It's truly amazing. And you will never know it, and people will never know it unless they try it, because you can utilize these products to fuel your body in a manner that nothing else can do, because they're whole food, true food, honest food, pure food, nutrition that your body actually wants, desires, and craves. And it will be utilized for recovery, for energy, for better state of mind, well-being, thought process, everything. And I hope I didn't go too far into it, but
no.
I'll give you. But that's where it's at. So yes, it's been amazing. The journey is fantastic. Now I eat 2 times a day, mostly vegetables and fruits. I have meat products, only maybe maybe a chicken breast at night, but every other night or so. My whole family has changed. My wife, my kids, and not to mention we have my kids on product now. Not a whole lot, but some product, the Power Shake and the aminos. I mean, it's for my teenager, it's clearing up acne and different other things. For my little ones, it's helping them with being able to focus and their whole ADHD type thing. There's none of that anymore. They're controlled. They look you in the eye. They don't slam from one thing to the next like they would with these other foods products that are out there. My littlest one, my baby child, some people know this story. She had 2 seizures she was rushed in the ambulance to the hospital. One of them, she stopped breathing because she was getting chronic upper respiratory infections, ear infections, and eye infections. We couldn't figure out why. We finally got to an allergist. The allergist said she's allergic to the food. Mainly, she's allergic to the genetic modification in the food. She's allergic to high fructose corn syrup and all these other things. And we took that out of her diet and put her on Power Shake, a 6-ounce Power Shake in the morning, 6 ounce in the afternoon. Every other day, we crush up 2 aminos, put it in applesauce or whatever for her, or organic yogurt or such. And she is in fantastic health. She'll be 2 years old next month, and now she's in better health than she has been in since she was born. And it just is real. I don't know why not everybody in the world doesn't just get on the products. It's tangible. High-level athletes, the average person, and children. It's for everyone. It's the way we were intended to feed ourselves.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, I've got a couple of questions for you, but that was an amazing review, and thank you for taking us on a little journey here over the course of your experience. Really quite interesting, and all the different ways that you're kind of using it within your household is inspiring. So 2 questions for you. One is, I can't let you say, hey, I got a protocol for all athletes to that is. I'm sure there are other people on the phone who are thinking the same thing.
Well, good. I'm glad that I did want to share that. First of all, when you know what the products are and then what they do, it's very easy to slip them into what you're going to do for athletic performance. So we know that the Power Shake is fantastic for energy and for supplying the absolute nutrients for your body to operate. So we know that. We know that the Love Shake is higher in the protein content and supplies recovery material that you need to recover from strenuous activity. We know that the amino acids are the most powerful protein source, amino acid source, because that is what proteins are, amino acids. We know that they're the most powerful source, and they get into your muscles within 23 minutes of taking them, and they do not tax your system. So you do not tax your liver, your kidneys, and so forth. So what we can do at that point is we can load up on what we need and full well know that it's not going to harm our body, but it's actually going to improve our body. So we just use them. So for me, I get up in the morning immediately, and I have 5 amino acids. I have 5 master aminos with a cup of green tea. I'm off caffeine. I used to be a big coffee guy, and there was caffeine in almost all products that I took. I don't do that anymore. It's just a cup of green tea and my 5 aminos. Then a couple hours later, I have a bowl of steel-cut oatmeal with 2 scoops of Love Shake in it. And then I do a little work. Then I go to the gym. Before the gym, my pre-workout is a power shake. Now, because I'm going to get the energy, Power Shake and 10 aminos, because I want the aminos for my muscle, and I want them 30 minutes before, and I want the Power Shake to give me the energy, and that's going to get into my system within 23 minutes. So I know that with a half-hour warm-up, or it takes me about 15 minutes to get to the gym, and then a 15-minute warm-up, I'm blasting through like nobody's business. I'm a 45-year-old man in the gym that's blasting through things that 25-year-olds can't think about. And that's not being a wise guy. It's just it's a blessing. So then after the workout, post-workout, I have 10 more aminos and a Love Shake, because I'm now providing my body with the nutrients and the amino acids to recover from that strenuous activity in which I broke my muscle tissue down. And then later in the evening, before dinner, I have another, usually a Power Shake. Sometimes I mix a Power Shake and a Love Shake together, just so I have those added nutrients. I try to do that before we eat about 6:30, so I try to do that about 4:30, 5 o'clock, so that it settles and digests and so forth. And then I have a meal at night, and that's basically it. I also added the Super Xanthan to my pre and post workout. So the Super Xanthan is fantastic, and I added 2 tablets before the workout, 2 tablets after, I should say capsules, and then in the evening before bed, I take a shot. I actually put it in a little, we used to have to give my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter, not even 2 years old, we used to have to give her Claritin every night before bed in one of those little shot glass things that they give you. Can you imagine? I'm loading my little baby up with drugs I got to process through her little tiny liver, and that's what I was told to do by the doctors. Now, no more of that. But what I do is I take those little shot glasses and I fill them with the Apato cherry, and I slam that back. That's my nighttime ritual, and then I go to bed. So that's the products I use. That's exactly how I use them. So when I have an athlete, like Chris, for instance, or someone else who's going to get ready for something, I can very easily take their training schedule, and I can take what they used to have done, and I can just pop in these products. Boom, 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 pre-workout, post-workout, and then over the course of a couple days, a week, they tell me how they're feeling, and then we can just certainly modify as needed.
Wow. Incredible. I know that was very valuable. Hopefully everybody had their pen and paper ready for that one, but they'll have the recording to listen to.
They could reach out to me on Facebook. I would be glad. It's you'll see the picture of me on the cover of a magazine, the same magazine. I would definitely take them on as a friend, and they could ask me questions. And believe me, I love to give information to people who are interested in taking control of their health and so forth. So anybody can reach out to me.
Okay, so here's my last question for you, and thank you for just what a robust call here with all this great information. But one of the questions I think a lot of people have is, I think that all of us are advocates of this whole live food process that we really are seeing great results in, we're believing in, we're wanting to share with people. It's interesting to me how you, within the bodybuilding system that's been taught animal protein, high protein, high protein, high protein, over the years and starting to realize that, hey, maybe there is something else out there. How do we wake up other people who seem to be stuck within that understanding, maybe stuck within the old traditional model? How do we wake up athletes or bodybuilders or trainers for that matter? What would be some of the key things that you would let some of the people on this call know who are interested in advocating and kind of turning the tide here, so to speak? Does that make sense, Mike?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense, and actually that is the most difficult process because it is, let's just be honest, it has been a brainwashing situation, and for me, myself, I've been brainwashed too because I did get a massive degree of success doing it the other way. So doing it the 4 meals a day, 4 protein shakes and so forth, and you got to remember that I was a sponsored athlete, which means I was being given money, not necessarily money, but products a lot of times by companies, and I don't necessarily want to name them because I don't want to talk bad about other, companies. That doesn't get you anywhere. But they were giving me thousands of dollars worth of products so that I would wear their T-shirt and their hat and say, hey, this is the greatest stuff on earth. And I really thought that. Because I was taking that stuff. I would never, I have too much integrity to take money if I'm not being honest. So, I was using those products and I was seeing the success. So for me, you know what I mean? So it's the hardest thing to do is to break over that. And I think a lot of times we have to come to rock bottom with ourselves, like I was, hurt, depleted, and, it wasn't working anymore until we reached out. So what I've seen is that for me, I've been reaching out to trainers and I've been reaching out to other people in the fitness industry, and I've been getting a lot of rejection, quite honest. Mike is crazy. He went to the other side or whatnot, but it doesn't change the way I proceed. I continue to pursue it. I continue to reach out. And just recently, the last week, I had a trainer that had seen my posts on Facebook and had heard about this since I started, for 4 months, saw my journey, saw everything, and absolutely thought I was crazy until I continued to post results of people. And those people were posting results of themselves. And I said, look, if you're going to post something, I said, I'm going to help you with this. I'm going to give you all the expertise I can, but you need to post your results on my page, you specifically, not me posting your results. I need you to do it because it shows more credibility. And all of a sudden, it started to open up their eyes. And then he called and he signed up. He said, look, I want to do this. I want all my clients on it, so forth. And that happened with another few trainers as well. So first of all, it's persistence in our message. Don't change the message because of people not listening to it. Continue the message, and you'll find, and people who will listen will come to you, number one. But to really change the culture, we just have to keep on plugging along as we're doing it and make sure that our mission stays the same, that our message stays the same, and that we keep on helping.
Did I lose you there, Mike? Okay. Mike, I think we've lost you, but we really appreciate you, and it was incredible information. So hopefully if you get back, maybe we'll have a final word from you here as we close out the call here in a little bit. But let's move on to our third incredible athlete.
I still have you. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here now. Yeah, if you want to finish up, then we'll move on to our next guest.
Yeah. Please, yeah. No, I was just saying, I think we just have to plug along with our message, our mission, because we have it right. And little by little, people's minds are going to change. To pursue it faster, just be bold. That's all I could say is we've got the right message. We are doing this because it has changed our health, it has changed our life, and we want to help others change their health and their life. And it has to become a message. I'm an ordained Christian minister, so for me, I really follow biblical principles. And there's a line in Proverbs that says, do not withhold good information for those who deserve it. And I believe everybody deserves this information. I believe everybody deserves it. We deserve to have the right stuff. There's too much nonsense. There's too much negative out there. There's too much poisons that we're being contaminated with. We need, because we have this, it's an obligation for us to tell everybody. And if they don't want to listen or if they want to get mad at us, well, that's unfortunately their problem. So I would just say that. I would say continue to go full steam ahead. And it's amazing. I'm now getting people that I spoke to 4 months ago that thought like I said, that wouldn't return my calls are now saying, hey, what's that website again? Hey, can you send me that email again that you did with those videos?
Mike, do you really look like that, Mike? Is that a picture of you now? I said, I took it yesterday. And that's the thing, you know. And if people have other people who are slightly interested, but they feel they're on the fence, you know what? Tell them to reach out to me. I'll be glad. I'm not looking to put more people in my pipeline. I'll be glad to help people. You know, whatever. I'll send them emails that they could send to someone. You know, I just think we have to do our best to help everybody.
Thank you, Mike. You're a true servant leader. Really appreciate you being on the call here this morning and sharing your journey, sharing all your tips, sharing your protocol. And we'll just look forward to continuing a great dialogue with you as we all continue to transform here together. So thanks for being on the call, Mike.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Well, that was an awesome piece of information. Let's continue this awesome journey that we're on. The next gentleman I'd like to introduce, he's a health and fitness specialist. He's a pro surfer and an MMA fighter, 32 years. Caring father of 3 with a newborn baby this past month, I hear. He will be fighting for his pro MMA card in April. So, you know, he's in hot pursuit of some serious training right now and is preparing for this event, of course, powered by Purium. And so, Chris Cornelius, welcome to the call. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And yes, actually getting ready to train right now, walking up to the gym. Been waiting.
I bet. Well, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. So maybe give us a little bit of a hint of what your journey has been. I know as heading down the MMA fighter thing, which is almost hard for me to conceptualize, that requires an amazing amount of strength and sustainability. And tell us a little bit about what your journey has been and how you found Purium and what it's meant for you and what you're up to now.
Okay, so basically I was born and raised here in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. So I obviously became a surfer, got sponsored, heavily sponsored, free boards, free clothes, you name it. Moved on in high school, became a weightlifter and wrestler, went to state championships every year and became, even from a very young age, actually, probably about the age of 7, I was had Arnold Schwarzenegger's encyclopedia, and just my dad telling me not to lift weights, me sneaking in the garage, pumping weights, trying to drink what they drank, eggs, and you name it back then, and so just always been involved in it in my life, and you follow the regimens of what you see and what's out there, and we're so led astray. But anyways, back to my story. I had children fairly young, and was unable to pursue my MMA career straight out of high school. So didn't really get my first break till about 29, 30, and came out with flying colors. TKO'd my first opponent, and here in the state of Florida, you got to have 5 fights. Getting ready to fight my 6th fight actually for a belt, amateur. And hoping to take this home April 11th and then go pro. I've already had a pro offer, but just kind of held off on it. But at my age, it's these Purium products that are really helping me to stay in the game, and especially with having 3 children and not having quite as much time as some of these younger fellas. I'm fighting guys that are 20 years old, fresh out of high school, that have the ability to still live with mom and dad and train, and so they have a whole different life than I do. So they got a lot more time, and I attribute a lot of it to the products allowing me to keep my game level matchable, comparable to theirs, if not better. At 32 years old.
Mhm. Tell me a little bit about do you have a particular protocol, or how long actually have you been using the Purium products? Chris, and what kind of
the Purium in general. Mike introduced me to him, thank God, probably about 3 months ago, and I've been on him ever since. I live on the Power Shake. I take it at least 2 to 3 times a day, and as well as the Master Aminos. I love the dark cherry concentrate when I have it. It's a matter of just keeping it in stock. But mainly my main protocol is the Power Shake, the Ionic Elements. And basically, I live on the cleanse. I mean, honestly, I feel like that's a lifestyle. And, for 5 years before that, prior, I've been, studying my bachelor's and and all that, and certified trainer, and you know, I've been studying earth-grown nutrients is the way to go, and kind of getting away from the old bodybuilding whey protein, all these artificial flavors, GMOs, yada yada, you name it. Really have been getting away from that, but it's so hard to attain all the earth-grown nutrients in a manner that's even feasible. And so the Purium really allows you to get that in a way that's just it's convenient. So yeah, so my main protocol is just I live on the greens. You know, I believe the greens are alkalizing and energizing, and that's what it's all about. You know, cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Our red blood cells, you know, everything works off electrical charges and you know, pH balances, and even our red blood cells sticking together with you know, the negative charge keeps them separated and stuff. So I mean, it's a matter of running at peak performance, and it's just amazing. I've never felt as good as I do now.
Fantastic. Well, you know, it's an amazing journey, and I know the products are it sounds as if you're, you know, kind of living off of them. I think one of the things that people always wonder, you know, or think, you know, am I going to have to, you know, eat shakes the rest of my life? And there's a lot of different ways that certainly we've found to mix up and use the products. And so what would be a typical day for you? Or you, what's a typical day for you on the products when you're training?
Typical day for me, like when I'm not weight cutting, when I'm just training, would be, you know, wake up in the morning, kind of similar. I usually do a lot of fasting cardio, so pounding, you know, at least 16, 18 ounces, 20 ounces of water with my master aminos, probably about 6 to 8 of them. And then really living off of that maybe for about 2 hours, then something small and simple like an apple and maybe some oatmeal with some hemp seeds and chia on it. And then about 2 hours later, maybe a love shake. And then I'm just, you know, constantly adding, like 2 hours later, a little salad. I believe eating every 2 to 4 hours at least, minimally, and then something small and earth-grown nutrients. So then, you know, I'm either, if I don't have a you know, a spinach salad with some alfalfa sprouts and a little this, little that on it, then it's a Purium shake, or it's a love shake, or it's something to keep my body fueled and the nutrient density there, just boom, 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 every 2 to 4 hours, you know. And that's my main protocol. And when I'm cutting weight, because that's the other big plus of Purium, it's allowing me to cut weight like never before. I fight at 155 pounds and typically walk around at about 183. On Purium, I'm walking around at about 172 right now, which is down 11 pounds already, without even really cutting too hard. So I'll be starting to do some water manipulation, which is just a matter of the amount of water I drink for a week and just manipulating my water intake, and living off of the Purium greens and flex foods and basically doing a cleanse. But I mean, the energy's still there while you're on the cleanse. So it's not the old starvation, dehydration method. So it's a whole new ball game.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of what have been known as, I would say, pretty fierce types of things that you have to do to your body to compete at that level, whether it's cutting weight or that type of thing, which, you know, in at least from my vantage point, and I think even some of you gentlemen who have been sharing, you know, not really good stuff for the body. And so this is a way to accomplish some of the same things in a very healthy way, which I think is phenomenal. So I think that's a big, yeah.
I've been literally in the sauna and not knowing my phone number. That dehydrated, you know, you're talking dropping 18 to 20 pounds of water out of your body in a matter of 2 to 3 hours, and really getting drug in and out of the sauna, literally like on the, I mean, you would say almost on the verge of death. It's kind of crazy what a lot of athletes do, and it's you know, it's every athlete, and it's finally there's some awareness being brought that there's other ways, and it's actually a blessing.
Fantastic. Well, it is a blessing, and those of us who are out sharing it with others, we get the blessing on both sides, personally, and just knowing that we're helping somebody else have a better life, a healthier life is awesome. Chris, thank you very much. Good luck for your up-and-coming fight here in April. Hope it's very successful for you. Thanks for just sharing some of your energy with all the listeners today. Really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. God bless you guys.
All right, back at you. All right, what a phenomenal 50 minutes here it's been with three gentlemen bringing a lot of expertise and a lot of world experience, telling us a lot about what's working for them and just how passionate they are about finding, a new way through with whole life superfoods, non-genetically modified, organic ingredients. It's an amazing assortment that we have with the Purium Health products. And Jeffrey, I'll let you finish up with some final summary comments here if you'd like. So Jeffrey Kipple, back to you.
Thank you so much, John, and thanks, Mike, Jimmy, and Chris for sharing that information. You asked a couple questions, and I think it's good for the listeners to understand this. You asked the question about how do we educate people on these products? How do we educate them to change their mindset on how to incorporate this into their lifestyle? And something that I like to share often, in particular physique athletes and athletes that are strength and endurance athletes getting ready for events, getting their body in the top shape, is talking about the protein. The Master Amino or the Super Amino 23, which is now called, what is very key with it is it has a 99% net nitrogen utilization. What that means for the layperson is that 99% is absorbed into the body. Now that sounds really cool, and it's even cooler when you understand how it is in relation to other products. So whey protein, which is typically thought of as the king of protein, only has an 18 to 20% absorption rate. When someone has dietary protein like chicken, fish, meat, eggs, you're looking at somewhere between 32 and 34% absorption rate. So this product is 5 times more nutrient dense. It reaches the muscles within 20 to 30 minutes. It bypasses the kidneys and liver. And importantly, it has virtually 0 calories. So when a lot of athletes are looking at how do I drop my weight, how do I get myself leaner, well, here's a protein source that you could swap out what you were typically doing and now have a protein that has virtually no calories and is that much more nutrient dense. And then when you translate that same information over to the benefits of having superfoods, the nutrition that's in the Power Shake, the nutrition that's in the Love Shake, now they can understand that as a relation to the protein. What I then go on to explain is in order to get the most benefits out of this protein source or these nutrient-dense foods, you need to clean up your body. Let's get your body to become chemical-free. Let's do a whole reset, a recalibration. This is a way that people can jump on, do a cleanse, get themselves into a whole new way of being, a whole new way of feeling body proud, a whole new way of experiencing their performance. And now they can take that further. And with having that awareness comes the ability or the desire and the actual need to fulfill a duty to share that with others. I find that when people have this awareness, they are so inspired, they want to share that with others, it becomes a duty to share it with others, and that's where it all starts. In addition to athletes going through this cleanse process, there is a specific athletes transformation program as well. So we always recommend people begin with the cleanse, get all the toxins out of the body, become chemical free, reset everything, and then go on to the athlete transformation so that they can continue their journey and they can experience themselves body proud in brand new ways. So I wanted to be able to share that, John. If there's any other questions or anything that you have for me before we end off the call, I'm still available.
I think we're at a great place right now in terms of the information. We have filled a lot of cups here this morning. It's a continuing journey, and it's always appropriate to kind of come back to the well, dip for more information, and really just start to dig down a little bit deeper. And there's a lot of resources within the Purium Health product platform. Our company is all about education. It's all about helping people understand the journey, helping people take the baby steps, from just kind of going, what's a whole live food to, nourishing your body at the level that Mike and Chris and Jimmy and you talked about this morning, Jeffrey. So it really is a continuing journey, and I know there'll be a lot of opportunities for us to continue this conversation. But I think the glasses are full here this morning. So with that, Jeffrey, if it's okay with you, I think we'll bring our call to a close. And I just want to invite people to, connect and continue this journey of education and find out, everything that you can in terms of just making that next step in your own household. The rewards are outstanding, and it's going to lead to a life of optimal health, happiness, and wellness. So with that, Jeffrey, thank you so much, and thank you, Mike, Chris, and Jimmy, for being on the call. And I'm sure we'll have a follow-up to this call as we continue this journey of high athletic performance, not just for the elite athletes, but for everyone. Thank you so much.